Hey guys, today we're going to read chapter 64. I can't wait because holy moly, we left Roz in a very, very, very scary situation. She was drowning down into the ocean. And you guys wrote your predictions and what you think is going to happen to poor Roz. And let's find out if you're right. Chapter 64, the sea creature. Maybe Roz becomes a sea creature and she just adapts, just like hey, that'd be a cool prediction. Just like she adapted to living in the wild, maybe she just adapts to living in the bottom of the ocean. Do you think that'd work for Roz? Probably not. Bright Bill hovered on the wind and watched his poor mother sinking into the depths. He could still see her body sparkling brightly against the darkness. She was fading fast. The goose closed his eyes, hoping this was all a bad dream. He heard the distant horns of ships in the seaport. He heard the buoys clanging in the harbor, the buoys. He heard the buoys clanging in the harbor, and he heard the ocean waves churning and frothing louder and louder and louder and louder. The goose opened his eyes and saw the ocean bulging upward. A giant sea creature was rising from the deep. It breached to the surface and sent waves rolling away. The creature had a large mouth and long fins and a wide back that curved down to the water. There was a loud burst and mist shot up from a blowhole. As you might have guessed, reader, the giant creature was... What was it? What was it?
I'm thinking a whale.
A whale. More of the whale emerged from the darkness until something sparkled in the sunlight. It was Roz. She was sprawled across the whale's back, wet, limp, and lifeless. Uh-oh. Well, we have to keep reading. We can't just leave Roz dead on the back of a whale. Chapter 65, The Whale. The whale swam along the surface of the ocean, keeping our robot safely above water, gently moving away from the rough waves. Bright Bill couldn't believe what he was seeing. Once the shock wore off, he fluttered down to the whale's back and leaned over to his mother. There was no life in her eyes or her body, so the goose did the only thing he could think of. Click. Roz's eyes began to glow. She uttered some human noises, and then, in the language of the animals, the robot said, "Oh, Bright Bill, I am happy to see you." The goose squawked with joy and hugged his mother's face, but she didn't move. She couldn't move. The robot had lost the use of her limbs. There were a few tense minutes and a few nervous glances, but as the sun beat down and the wind rushed over her, Roz felt her body drying out. Slowly, gradually, power returned to her arms, then her legs, and then she sat up and hugged her son. Bright Bill breathed a sigh of relief. "Mama, when you disappeared below the water, I thought you were gone forever." "So did I," said Roz. As I sank deeper and deeper into the ocean, the ocean squeezed my body tighter and tighter. I lost control of my arms and legs. The last thing I remember was a huge shape swimming toward me, and then I automatically shut down. "That huge shape was a whale," squawked the goose, "and we're riding on her back right now." A low moan rumbled up through the whale's body. She splashed the water with her fins and took a long, wheezing breath and sprayed mist high into the air. Roz paid close attention to the whale's behaviors and understood what she was saying. The whale's name was Coral, and she was thrilled to have met our friends. She explained that the flock of geese had flown over the bay and regulated the coastal birds with the amazing story of the wild robot and her son, the goose. The coastal birds shared the story with the fish and the dolphins and anyone who would listen. In time, the story spread to every creature in the bay. When Coral saw the robot rowing and the goose flying overhead, she knew it had to be Roz and Bright Bill. So she swam behind them in case she could be helpful, and it was a good thing she did. As Coral ferried our friends across the bay, the waves grew smaller and the coastline grew larger. Houses poked out from the trees. Sunbathers relaxed on rocks. Boats motored away from the piers. With so many humans around, Roz had to be careful. She lay flat against Coral's back while Brightbill flew ahead and scouted the coastline. The goose directed the whale to a quiet, empty cove, and soon the robot was standing on dry land once again. Roz asked if there was some way she could repay Coral for saving her life, but the whale was just happy to help. She winked one of her enormous eyes, and then she sank beneath the waves. Our friends marched inland, feeling lucky and grateful, but as they thought of the journey still to come, their good feelings gradually turned gloomy. Roz had nearly died crossing that bay. At some point, to get back to the island, she would have to cross an entire ocean. Here's a picture of Roz on the back of a big giant whale. Look, there's Brightbill riding the whale too. Today, I want you guys to write a journal entry. Today's journal, I want you to write about why is it that you think that everyone is so willing to help Roz and Brightbill? What is it about them that makes every animal, except Shadow and Barb, helpful? She's encountered so many helpful people or helpful animals along the way, and people. Giant and Jad were so willing to help. The cows were willing to help. Thud the ram. The skunk was willing to help. The whale. Let's think back. Can you guys think of any more animals that helped her as they carried on? I'm sure you guys can think of some more. But I want you guys to write 5 to 7 sentences, type it or handwritten. Why is it that you think everyone is so willing to help Roz and Brightbill as they journey back home? Take a picture, email it to me, however you want to get it to me. Or no, I want you guys to write this one. Yeah, can't wait to read those because that's a pretty good question to think about. And you guys have a great rest of the day. Say bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye.
See ya.